All right. And we are live. I am getting word that we might have a verdict. Getting nervous. No, that's the word. We got a verdict. So let's see. I'm try to send Jamie an email. I'm sure she'll want to be on for this. Yes, verdict. I sent you an email, Jamie, if you want to join me. I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure what to expect here. Okay, I'm just trying to get my stream up and running. All right. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, are you nervous?
Oh my God, instant sweats.
I know, right? Same here.
My
May
friend
justice
was
be
just
served. I
asking if
agree.
heard anything, and I was like, nope. And then it popped right. I got the alert from Twitter, and I goes, oh my God. Oh, sorry.
Hello, everybody. I was so close. I'm sitting here. I'm actually in my office still. I was like, should I go home? No, I'm gonna wait until the jury goes home for the day because I don't want to be in transit if they do come back with something. And I'm very happy I didn't go anywhere.
So
what's that?
I said, what's your take? Like,
I say stalking and not guilty on the others.
That's what you think they were like taking the time on?
Yeah, that's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong in some extent because I want them to be not guilty on all offenses, but just knowing juries, I know they tend to meet in the middle somewhere sometimes. I'm really hoping that I'm not wrong and it's a guilty on the criminal matter or on the criminal matter, all criminal on the murder.
Yeah. I'm going just not guilty on everything. That's my hope. Obviously. But I have a feeling too that they were deliberating more on the stalking. But maybe they were really looking at it in a real aspect to be like, is this truly stalking? So
yeah, I'm hoping that's what they did.
And maybe they had to talk to some other jurors that were like on the boat of, oh, that's stalking for sure. And maybe they had to break it down for them and be like, come on, guys, she didn't know. And let's look at the timeline. And yeah.
Yeah. That's how it seemed in the Rittenhouse case when we all thought that one particular juror was like the holdout for not guilty. She ended up being the holdout for guilty, and they were able to convince her the last day. The other room has ups and downs. What do you mean ups and downs? I was watching a little bit of the chat in on the Law and Crime, waiting to see what was come of this. They had a poll up, and I think it was like 70% said guilty.
I know.
Law and Crime, but I feel like Law and Crime listeners are of the he's charged, he must be guilty.
Oh, definitely. And a lot of them are international too, which I found is weird. So they don't really, I don't think they really understand.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in other countries that love watching our trials, but they have that thought of people are arrested and charged, they must be guilty type of thing too.
Yeah, and I'm that way with like Sarah Boone, Lori Daybell, those kind of cases where it's almost clear that she business when she ends up going up for trial.
Oh yeah,
insanity defense. It's like, okay, well, we know you're guilty as hell, but let's see this train wreck. Or Daryl Brooks.
Yep. Well, that's the kind of evidence I want. I mean, that was a lot of these people had, like Daryl Brooks. Obviously, we had video and pictures of him, and he's running around Waukesha, ringing doorbells with no explanation, really. So, I
You
mean,
mean Daryl Brooks?
yeah.
Yeah.
And like the others too, like Shabusiness got caught red-handed.
Yeah, and then she'd like admitted like, oh, would she look in the bucket or something? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, she
So,
was involved. In Sarah Boone, she's got a claim, battered wife or something, or
yep.
battered spouse or whatever the hell it is, and that's just going to be a horrible defense. So she's not even claiming she wasn't responsible to some extent.
Right.
Is Wisconsin the new Florida? Since Stephen Avery, it seems to be. There's been a lot of craziness coming out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin and Florida are just cracking me up lately. Just the craziness out of those two states.
Yeah, I there's a YouTube channel I watch called That Chapter, which is really great if you want to hear some murder drama stuff. He's Scottish or Irish, I can't remember which. Um, and but he's he'll come up and he's like, so this place or this story takes place in Florida again. It's like we seem to be visiting Florida a lot. Hello, Tara. I still haven't gotten an email from you. She apparently sent a teacher of her son's a risque photo, and we're all claiming that she did not do such a thing unless she has.
Oh my gosh. Are you guys nervous? I'm sweating.
I know, I am too. I'm really kind of nervous. I wish the judge would hurry up. I want to hear what happens.
I want this poor guy to like be able to go back to his life, man. Try to get it back together.
I wish I had beer here at the office. That would be nice.
Oh, did you see that email I sent you with the thing on Sadie's car?
No.
You have
What
to
thing
go.
on Sadie's car?
Oh my God. They've been talking about it on Twitter.
No.
She
What
has
did
a
I miss?
decal on the back of her car about Gutierrez. I just sent a.
Oh God, you will be remembered. Really? They dated for like 4 months.
It was like going around Twitter and everybody was just being so ruthless.
Oh.
They're like, ma'am, you were never in a serious relationship with this man. That's creepy. And it was just funny. So I had to send it to you.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can. Wait. I want to make sure my volume is turned up. Okay. All right. Let me pull this up. That's horrible. Where is it?
There was some people like, oh, well, she just wanted to remember him. It's still just weird to me. I thought it was weird.
That's creepy. It's not creepy. It's very like Chris Rock said in his special. There's three ways to get attention: show your ass, be really talented, which is hard to do, or to be a victim. And I think she's trying to get attention by being.
Oh yeah, as long as I breathe, you'll be remembered. Ugh.
I want to hit her even more now.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Maybe he made a lasting impression. Yeah, that's very weird. I agree. What kind of lasting impression could you make after 4 months? She's just gonna milk it because she's getting sympathy.
Yeah, I don't
Yep,
know
she wants
any
attention.
man that I had a semi-casual relationship with that I'd put a decal on my car about him. I mean, I'd probably be like, oh, that sucks. He's missing.
I hope this is for the other Dave and not for me. This question. All right, let me get back. Okay, hopefully soon.
Yes, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty.
I go on the law and crime stream and I just text not guilty, and then I'll do it again, just not guilty. I just keep flooding it with not guilty.
Yeah. All right, Dave, that was good. Sadie sent me a
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Oh my god, that was funny. She needs somewhere to stay.
Yes, Leah, I will never forget you. So I guess we can make an impression over a shorter period of time. I'm not putting a sticker in my window about you, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's a little much. That's like permanent. That you can't get that stuff off.
She's just, oh God. Was that posted like someone took a picture of it, like in the courthouse parking
Yeah,
lot or
that's what
something?
it looked like. The lady that I saw
Oh,
it on
yeah.
was the Law and Crime Channel lady.
Yeah, that's the courthouse there in the background. I see that.
Yeah. And it was just
She
like,
puts his birthday, April 10th, 1980. You got the date wrong, Sadie. You killed him on May 18th, 2020.
oh man. Like she could have just made a shirt and just been done with it. You had to put a decal in your car.
Am I getting her name wrong? I don't know. Oh, I hope she got a tattoo.
Oh my
That would be
god.
awesome.
She probably did.
I'm sure. No, because this is fake outrage, right? She's doing this for attention, so she's not going to get something that permanent.
It's just so gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like you barely knew the guy. You met him like once.
I think 3 or 4 times they saw each other in person. She testified
Yeah.
to 3 or 4 times in person.
And I wonder if she truly knew about any of the other women. Like if she really thought he was her one and only.
She
Because
found
with
out on May 18th.
yeah, it's true. But it's just like, wouldn't it be just so funny if she put that decal up thinking, oh, and then she goes to court and find out he's had like several women he was talking to. She's like, ah.
Oh, that you know what? That would be even better.
I know. I was just like, picture that.
Mm-hmm. And she's like thinking to herself if she should remove the decal from her car.
No, she's already, yeah. She's like, I'm just going to go full on because I can't look stupid now. A
Tramp
tramp.
stamp as a warning to future lovers. Gross.
I wonder what her new man thinks. Like, you're
Does
emo.
she have a new man? I wonder. She's got to have a new man. She's got someone
Well,
taking care of her.
a while back, um, there was somebody in the courtroom that said that. Because remember when, like, they were having the issue with the Zach's family with the phones when they were wanting to question them? One of his brothers left, and then they said that Sadie had a new boyfriend and he got kicked out because he was running his mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's fully true, but it was supposed to be like somebody in the courtroom said that.
Interesting. Oh, that one fiasco with the guy that
Yeah.
had to be escorted out. Apparently, he was drunk in the court, just sort of drunkenly wandered into the courtroom. I heard that, so that was fun. Michigan, I don't watch basketball, although my brothers are huge fans of Michigan State and both went there. But if it's Michigan State versus anybody, I'll root for Michigan State. And they won on Sunday, so that's good.
Your future ex-wife.
Yeah.
Are you going to be mad that she has a tattoo about a Facebook guy she met a couple times? I wonder if she does that for everybody. So weird.
Well, she said the relationship ended with Zach a year, and she was still calling him Z Bear and Baby and X's and O's.
Probably.
I think she just sort of leeches on the guys, does whatever she needs to do.
Hmm.
I had a real awesome story I was going to do after this trial. I was going to do a video about it involving a ton of downriver drama, um, internet, Facebook drama.
Yeah.
And, and I think I might be personally involved now. So I'm like, oh, damn, I can't do the story. But it involves like a lot of the sort of the same environment that I feel Zach and um, Sadie and Gutierrez come from. So I thought it would be sort of a good sort of transition. And now I'm a little frustrated that I can't do that story.
Downriver folk.
I love everyone. You're next.
Yeah, that's probably what she's saying to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a sad tale too. Like, if he does get acquitted of all this, and it's like,
Well, he needs thousands of dollars in legal fees, even if these are paid for, to get his kids back. That's going to take a long time, a lot of therapy, thousands of dollars. He needs to get his life back together. Who knows what happened to his house?
mhm.
Um, yeah, it's been 3 years. He's going to need to. His life is not automatically restored after this trial,
Heck
even if he's
no.
acquitted.
Especially his relationship with his daughter, who just now got on the stand and just went ham on him.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, that's going to take a lot of counseling and therapy. So who's Harry? What room are you guys in? You were cheating on me? Is there a? There was one Facebook group that I was in a little bit. Um, they were not a fan of some of my not guilty statements.
I heard there's like actual Facebook groups for like this trial and stuff, like Zach and stuff, and people are just like awful in there.
There's one that I'm a part of. I joined. It's just I think it's just the title of the case, Wisconsin v. Zachariah Anderson, and people were fairly mixed. No one was terribly hostile. Um, but someone says he's guilty for sure. I was like, what evidence did you hear exactly? Well, he's an
Does anybody
asshole.
ever answer you? Yeah. I was like,
Yeah, some people they're like, well, DNA or no blood. He had Gutierrez's blood in the car. I was like, well, it wasn't blood. They said they found no blood in the car. Yeah, and so I was just
and the whole DNA thing, wasn't it just a male DNA? It didn't say it, they couldn't exclude him, but they couldn't say it was him.
see. I've heard
Because that's what I've been hearing a lot this morning. Because I
that's
had,
what I've been hearing a lot too, and I remember going back through the testimony, and I'm pretty sure the first female witness testified that from a scientific standpoint, it is his blood. Now, I think she was just referring to it as matching the blood, or not his blood, his DNA in the car, matching the blood that was in the apartment, um, as opposed to making a true authentication that is actually him. Um, and I think maybe that's where some people are getting confused because her testimony was clear to me that it was absolutely the same DNA that was found from the blood in the apartment. So, but they can't say for certain that that is his blood because they don't have a full DNA profile because they couldn't find the father.
that's what I was just going to ask you. I was like, but then what was that whole thing about not having his father and finding a whole DNA profile? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was, and I think that's what was confusing people because they don't have a full DNA profile. So they're saying, well, it's not his blood, but it matches like 1 to 1 the blood in the apartment. Oh,
You've done a great job.
Oh,
Everybody
God.
been here with a couple of minor incidents have been wonderful participants in terms of maintaining silence and dignity and not disrupting the proceedings at all. This, of course, is among the most um, critical moments of the trial and may create the greatest feelings of one way or another.
As nervous as I'm feeling right
you
now, I
feel
feel
any
like if I
need to
was the
react
defendant, I'd
in
almost
some
be
way,
passing out.
you may not do so. And as you can see, there's plenty of force here.
Because this is his life.
And if there's any kind of behavior that is in the least bit disruptive, without even needing to hear anything from me, the sheriff is here in person, and you will be removed from the court, and you would be subject to arrest if the incident were serious enough. I don't think we'll have anything like that, but just so you're aware. In addition, if you do not feel that you can remain in here regardless of the outcome, then you need to leave now. Because I'm not going to permit a massive
Yeah, he's looking
outflow
right
of
at her.
people at any point during the proceedings. So unless you're totally confident that you can react or not react in any
Unless she
way,
dressed up for court.
I would suggest you leave right now. Otherwise, you're perfectly welcome to stay.
Her stupid little.
And is there any reason why we can't take the verdict at this time?
No, Your Honor.
No,
Wait, that's what reported to me, is that their verdict, so.
I actually saw the tweet pop up too, so I was excited that that worked.
Did it? Yeah, it's quick. I made sure to turn my sound on this time because I was working, so I didn't want to miss it.
Would you come down, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And now that you're added on it, it'll be any trial that's ever on Law and Crime. So just FYI, if you're not watching something, you're going to get a verdict pop up
Oh, okay.
for everything.
The problem with this case is I really don't see a ton of grounds for appeal. There's a lot of bullshit that went on, but I don't see anything that's really going to, in my opinion, make the Court of Appeals say, no, we're going to set this aside. The gun thing would be the biggest thing. The whole gun
Right.
thing coming out. Some comments regarding the cadaver dogs that was ruled on ahead of time, and DA Gonzo brought that out in his own words, questioning witnesses twice. Some little things like that. The Court of Appeals might say that that was enough. The gun thing was a huge thing.
I feel like that's the thing is a lot of people that don't, I mean, this is just my opinion. You can correct me, but they think like, oh, if they get a guilty verdict, they can just appeal. But it's actually really difficult to get your charges overturned on appeal, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You need to show clear error by the judge or some abuse of discretion or something like that. And appeals are for losers, and 2% maybe get a favorable return. Maybe at the most. I would probably say it's less than that.
Yeah. So you don't even want to,
No, you don't want to go to the Court of Appeals. No,
you don't
do
want to
not
have to go that route. You want the acquittal.
Yeah. So I said the best hope for him at this stage, if he gets a guilty verdict, is the judge to come back and issue a judgment notwithstanding the verdict. Because there wasn't enough evidence at the end of the day.
I kind of feel like Bruce was kind of leaning toward not guilty.
I feel like I feel like
Maybe
he would
seated.
be inclined to do it, but I don't know if he would.
All right, members of the jury, have you elected a presiding juror? Yes. Would you state your name? No, well, we don't need to do that. Has the jury reached a verdict as to each count? We have. Would you hand all of the papers to the bailiff, please?
He's been dressed nice this entire trial, but I feel like this jacket's a little too big for him.
He looks so nervous.
Yes. Yeah, he
The
does.
defendant will rise, face the jury, and hearken to its verdicts.
In re the matter, State of Wisconsin versus Zachariah Joseph Anderson, as to the first count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Sadie Beecham as charged. As to the second count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Rosalio Gutierrez as charged.
I'm hoping this is a compromise verdict.
I know, me
To
too.
the third count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of
No.
of the first degree as charged.
That's a shitty verdict.
What?
As to the fourth count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as
You're
You don't even
fucking
have a
kidding
corpse.
me.
Oh, that's disappointing.
That is.
Oh, I put it in the wrong stack. Yeah, you may be seated.
All right, bring your
Members
motion.
of the
for
jury, are
judgment
these your
notwithstanding.
unanimous verdicts? You have
What
heard,
the hell
heard
is
the
wrong
clerk
with those
reading
people?
verdicts finding the defendant guilty as to each count of the information.
Stupid bitch.
I'm going to pull you by seat number 1 through 6 across the top, 7 through 12 across the front. If you agree with each and every one of these verdicts, finding the
I
defendant
agree.
guilty as charged, please respond by saying yes. If there is any of the verdicts with which you do not agree, even one, please respond by saying no. Were these and are these now your verdicts? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6? No, 5,
Yeah, see, this is the true lesson we've learned
Okay.
today.
6, 7, 8, 9,
No one
10,
is safe from jurors
11,
and DAs like this.
12. All right, any further requests with respect to the jury?
Like, I'm
from
absolutely
the state.
furious.
No, Judge.
All right. Folks, I want to thank you for your service in this case.
Don't thank them.
The DNA
Uh,
is what's
you,
convicted.
uh,
DNA
I could
and
not have asked for a more cooperative, pleasant jury to work with.
the whole
And
underlying.
in no
stalking.
way am I commenting whatsoever on the outcome of the case. In terms
I think they
of
need to.
the
They needed to push that harder because it
length
wasn't
of the case,
determined anything.
and what the original expectations were, some of the interruptions and long breaks. And
Quit
I could go
crying.
on.
She's not
You
even
have
crying.
been,
Quit pretending to cry.
I've never worked with a more patient and cooperative jury, and it's been a true pleasure for me to do that. And this is far more important than most people realize.
I
mean,
agree. It is
our entire
frightening
freedom
because
in this country is dependent upon
it
people like
seems
you
like
who take
nowadays,
time
if you
off
even
at
get
great sacrifice
arrested for anything,
perform this
regardless of evidence or
service
not, you're just
to
doomed.
their fellow citizens, and it's a guarantee of freedom against oppressive government that other countries
Is it?
don't have.
Not if the jury
And,
is
it's because of people like you that it's kept strong and handed down to our
acting like
children
this.
and the generations which follow us. So there is no way I could adequately express the gratitude we have for you folks. And I want to advise you that you're never under any obligation to discuss your service on the case with anyone. You're welcome to. You're There are no restraints in terms of how much or how little you want to discuss it. Sometimes people will contact you.
No one said trust the process,
Um,
Brent.
Very rarely some of the lawyers sometimes will contact people and just ask for pointers or whatever. Sometimes the media will. I haven't seen a lot of that lately, but keep in mind that you're welcome to talk
So I'm hoping for a
or
judgment
welcome to
notwithstanding.
say, I don't care to do that. And you're right either way, whichever way you decide. There is only one possibility that you would ever be required to answer any questions about your service here. That's very remote. I've been in the criminal courts over 50 years. I've only had one case where that occurred, and it was a very minor matter. So I would not expect that you would be asked to do that. If that did happen, that request would come directly from the court and would be a court proceeding here in the open court. Other than that, you don't have to answer anybody's question if you don't want to. You're ineligible for jury service for 4 years. You've already done
They want to know if they could have a lifetime.
a lifetime exemption. That I can't do, but you certainly have earned one if that's what you wanted. But I'm hoping that maybe one or more of you
Come
may
on,
have
let's not make jokes.
enjoyed
It's-
it
I
enough
just
to want to
fucking heard that he's
participate
going to go
again.
to
But
prison for the rest of
in
his life.
any event, for 4 years,
They don't care. They
you
think he's guilty.
shouldn't be contacted about jury service. And go with our greatest gratitude and have a wonderful day. Thank you. If you need papers for work or anything, just see the bailiffs.
Yeah, his response, he's taking it in stride for whatever it's worth.
I'm sure he's in shock. Like, I'm in shock. Like, sometimes people take a minute.
I've seen people like pass out and stuff.
Yeah, he's probably like, I don't know. I don't know him, but I just feel like, oh my, like I'm still in shock and it's not even my life.
Mr. Ravely.
Judge, I'd move to revoke bond and ask the court to set a sentencing date.
Defense?
Judge, we would be asking the court to enter judgment notwithstanding the verdict.
There you go.
All right, the state's motion will be granted. The defense motion is denied.
Summarily, not even
And
argument.
set a date for sentence. Pre-sentence investigation is ordered. The defendant's bond is revoked.
I will be
But what
covering
does
his
that mean?
sentencing. What do you mean?
Judgment, or what did he say?
Judgment notwithstanding the verdict?
Yeah.
So that's where the judge can
The defense is
supersede the
going to want to
jury.
prepare our own sort of memorandum.
I want to see what the sentencing date is.
Okay.
But basically, it's where the judge can say the jury got it wrong. And that is more easily overturned in the Court of
So
Appeals.
the week of, for instance, the May 29th, 2 more weeks from there? Maybe late that week?
No, I have a trial in Oconto County.
I have a trial also.
How about the week before, May 22nd?
I have a trial then too.
Yeah.
Maybe late in the week? Very late in the week, maybe?
Well, I feel like I'm not busy
Oh,
enough.
June 12th.
No, because I'll have trials.
Trial.
How about the 15th in the morning?
Who is that typing?
Sorry, it's me.
June 15th is a Thursday?
Could you do the 16th?
I could do the 16th as well.
Well, this is going out a little bit far. If we could go back to May, was that May 16th available?
It is for us.
That morning,
We go.
So
Well, we can adjust
May,
that trial. Let me look at the date.
This is one where I
Well, it
would
must
love
be,
to hear from the jury. Please tell me what you.
No, what's the date?
Yeah. I'm hoping for some interviews.
Yeah, at
1:30?
Should be all right.
1 or 1:30?
That's fine, either. Either works for the defense.
1 or 1:30, Judge?
Whatever the clerk says. I don't manage. I don't, unless I have to do with the calendar, the more likely things are to come off correctly.
At 1 o'clock. That, Madam Clerk, that is what you said, right? Okay.
All right. So June 16th. No, May 16th.
All
I
right.
got that wrong.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Yeah, May
Thank you, Your Honor.
16th.
Thank you.
No.
Good day.
I wrote it down wrong.
Is that a lot? Is that usual? Because it seems like a long time.
It's typical even on smaller felonies for it to be at least a month. What they do is they meet with probation, they go through the background, they score them out. They do a fairly comprehensive sentencing recommendation. The defense needs time to put their memorandum together, sentencing memorandum, and
Yes.
things like that. So that would be appropriate.
Right now.
You know what I don't see in the court is Gutierrez's family. Why is she the focus of as the victim?
I'm just so disgusted.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we have. If they come back, we'll bring them back. But I think they're off the record for good. So guilty of all counts. I'm extremely disappointed in the jury.
Me too.
I would have. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that coming with the evidence that they had. I know you think he's guilty because he was charged. Everyone's guilty that's charged. Yeah, I just don't. The system didn't work. The process didn't work, Brent.
No, because if that was then everyone in the world that gets accused and charged would go to jail, and that's not how it is. Or that's not how it should be. The government needs to be held to a higher standard to really prove these things. And I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just the trials I'm watching, but I feel like lately it's just been crazy nonsense lately.
Brent, where were you on May 6th or 17th, 2020? Because there's no evidence that you didn't do it either.
Right.
That's the problem with that sort of mindset.
Yeah.
And that's I'm extremely disappointed in this jury. You were asking about a judgment notwithstanding the verdict.
Yes.
So basically, when the court is convinced by essentially beyond a reasonable doubt that the state has failed to prove their case and that the jury therefore made a wrong conclusion, the court can step in. But what it does is it opens up. It's not like an acquittal from a jury at this stage. Now, it would be different if it was a bench trial. If it was talking about just a bench trial, no jury, and the judge found him not guilty, that's an acquittal. It can't be appealed by the state. If the jury comes back though with the guilty, and then the judge ruled that essentially there wasn't sufficient evidence and acquits him, then the state has the opportunity to appeal that. So, but it was summarily denied, meaning the judge didn't even hear arguments. He was just no. So that's what that is. I don't know. Judges are rarely handing those out. It would have to be something very compelling, but I've seen it before. Yes, that's what scares me too. That sort of mindset that that you have to prove your innocence. That's not how this works. That's what the DA tried to do in this case with Zachariah, and say, well, he could have looked for the evidence and he could have tested these things, and he didn't, and therefore they shouldn't be allowed to question what we did. But you have the burden. You can't shift that.
To be honest with you, I really think that, I know this isn't for everybody, but I've been really getting into this lately, the justice system, and really understanding the responsibility, because it could be you tomorrow. You could be picked up on something, be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and have nothing to do with something, and be just like Zach right now.
Well, think of all the innocent actions that he did. He went to work, went home, took a nap, so didn't use his phone.
Yeah.
And then
That was used against him.
Walmart and bought random stuff, and then went to his CPA and burnt his garbage or burnt some shit.
Yeah.
Uh, all of the like innocent daily activities that he did is what the DA used to convict him. Oh, my wife sent me a new case, which I'm going to try to follow. A dentist in Colorado, I think, killed his wife by poisoning her.
Like
Well,
Mark.
what's funny is because she said that whole video that we made about my rings is going to actually convict you because apparently there were text messages between the husband and the wife saying, "I didn't poison you," and so she's like, "See, that's not going to save you. That's actually going to incriminate you now that you have that video."
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's just things like that. Those little things like that. Who knows? They'll jump on it and they'll frame their issue, and the jury's going to sit there and say, "Well, he's charged. He must be guilty until he proves his innocence."
But I think it like should be something taught in school because I will tell you hands down until I really started getting into this, watching trials and listening to like, lawyer channels with lawyers explaining things. I was that person in the law and crime chat over there like, well, they must have something. They must be guilty. I mean, they
Mhm.
don't just arrest people for no reason. They must have something because it looks stupid if they take it to trial and have nothing. And now I am being slapped in the face with all the stuff I used to believe.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
like,
it's good that
nope.
they're starting to stream these, and it's good that during COVID in Michigan here, when everything went to Zoom and almost every court hearing was on YouTube, people could actually see what was going on in these courtrooms,
Oh, yeah.
and it's good. And too bad, not enough people, I don't think, are really watching these things.
No. And that the whole thing too about media, so like mainstream media, that was a part of it too, because I think I told you before when we were chatting, like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, when I was watching that trial, the media was reporting like completely opposite information than I was seeing with my own two eyes. And
Well,
I,
even on this little case, I
yeah,
mean, we read
and
through
you
those
just
articles.
brought that up, and I was like floored too, because I was like, that's not what's happening at all.
Yeah,
But I
that
was the
he
person
put
that was
GPS
watching.
trackers on the car. That
Yeah.
was never testified to. There was
No.
never a GPS tracker that was ever used, found on a vehicle, or one that was ever used. Period. Found. There was one that was found that was never used.
Yeah.
But
And
the news media had it out there as if that was a fact that was testified to.
yeah, and I used to watch the news too and be like, "Oh wow, that's interesting." And it's like now I don't listen to that shit at all anymore. I am like all about like, nope, I want to see it with my own two eyes because they were lying up a storm everywhere you go. And I was just, and it was even like my friends would reach out to me and be like, "Oh, did you hear what happened?" And I said, "That's not what happened."
Yeah, and I agree. This should be in school, social studies. I actually had a part of one of my political science classes, whatever, when I was in high school, was actually carrying out a trial, and that was a lot of fun. But they should stream these
Yes.
in school, or at least make kids aware of it, stream part of it, show them how the process works, and point out some of these issues.
Yeah, because a lot of people really believe in our, unfortunately, they believe in our government, they believe in our justice system and our law enforcement, and they
This
take.
isn't even a government and a law enforcement thing. This is a societal mindset thing. Well, like you and everyone else in this chat, I'm sure watches 48 Hours, and you're like, "Ooh, what did this guy do now?"
Mhm.
And you've made a conclusion before you hear the first 10 minutes of the story. And I think that's a lot of people's mindset, and you need to step away from that and start with what truly is the presumption that he's innocent until he's proven guilty.
Yeah, that's why I like these a lot because for me, this is, I used to love all those true crime shows and 48 Hours and stuff, but they're just, yeah. But the trials, it's like I go into it wanting them to prove it to me. Let's see what you got. And I like that.
1 2 1 2
What?
3 4 5 levels looking live.
Are they going to do a press conference?
Yeah, it looks like.
All right. Well, we'll listen. I got some time.
I know it's just sad though because people really need to understand because like I didn't for the longest time.
Yeah.
I guess I put your trust in like the DAs and prosecutors because you're like, oh, you trust that they want actual justice for a crime really committed. And
No,
now
they
I'm
don't.
seeing the opposite. And I didn't know that. I'm
I
not a lawyer. I
have.
had no idea.
I just resolved the case, juvenile case. foster kids were kind of merged together, and there's an accusation from one that the other had sexually assaulted her. And mind you, this girl had made accusations twice. The state police, child protective services, foster care services had all found this girl not credible, and the prosecutor still brought charges. And we're like, really? You're going to tie up this 14-year-old kid in criminal proceedings when nobody finds this girl credible? Because they want the numbers. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
Brent, are you just playing devil's advocate now? Because if it's corrupt from top to bottom, how can you say that the system works and trust the system or the process?
Right. That's just what I think about a lot. It could be you, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, your sister, brother, in that position. And you would want these juror people to look at it the way we look at it.
Yeah,
And
it's
also
sad
a
when
lot
you
of it-
almost have to track yourself with, 12 electronic devices just to prove your innocence at times.
Yeah, and like you said, I do so many random things throughout my day. Like I go radio silent, I'm all over the place. I nap, I do this. I don't answer my phone for hours and hours. Sometimes I just stay home for a week.
You
Like,
know,
you know
there's
what I
another
mean?
attorney in my office. I was telling him about this case, and disappointingly, he hasn't been watching it along with me. But he was like, too bad he didn't have an Apple Watch on that was tracking his sleep cycles for his nap on May 17th. Like, damn, that would have been good. You know what? I'm sleeping with my watch on now.
Yeah, I have one too. So and I had a Fitbit and then I switched to an Apple Watch. So my life's complete. They know where I am at all times.
You got to give all of your life's information to a private corporation just to protect yourself.
But it seems like, well, if the prosecutors want to create a narrative to for their case, they'll twist anything you give them. You could give them all the evidence and they'd be like, they'd make something out of it. I feel like.
I'm not saying the justice system is corrupt. Although there's bad judges out there and there's bad DAs and prosecutors. What I'm saying is that when it comes down to it, you're supposed to be judged by your peers and innocent until proven guilty. And that system, the societal view on that system is messed up.
Oh my God.
If Sadie comes out and gives a speech, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna see me on trial. I might have to go pay her a visit. Kidding.
You know, it's interesting. I didn't see his mother in the court. Gutierrez's mother in the court. I think the first day maybe, but no other. It was just always Sadie.
Right, on either side?
You stand right here.
Oh, there's her mother or
Yeah,
his
you
mother.
can podium with me.
No.
You brought this home.
How can you even be
You brought
happy
this
with
home?
this? How can you be happy with saying that this man is the man? How,
Come on,
woman?
everyone.
You,
Come on. Sadie, Sadie
This
here?
is all about
Oh my
Bojo.
God.
Okay.
Yep, Sadie's there.
Christy?
I don't know if Christy's still
Okay.
She's going to get her final 15 minutes and then drift off into obscurity and welfare checks.
Yes, everyone. There's Sadie, okay? And Miss Heather? Miss Sadie? On the other side right there?
You're a piece of garbage, woman.
Ida?
All right. You as it was about him.
Marcus?
You dated him for 3.5 months.
And that is the father of your children. You're happy with that?
Yeah, where's Kim? Where's Kim? Where's the other Facebook friend?
Yeah, get all of his ladies that he was dating on the dating site. Why not? They all helped,
Yeah,
didn't
absolutely. I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah,
Catch
this is
the
a culmination
killer.
of almost 3 years worth of effort.
they? Oh, yeah, okay.
We owe so much gratitude to the 15 plus law enforcement agencies that investigated this, to the original prosecutors on it, Angelina Gabrielle, who was the deputy district attorney in our office at the time. She tirelessly was not willing to let this go. And so Celia was working hand in hand with her to get this charged. And then from the
Sadie's
hundreds
going
of
to go home and
officers
celebrate
to
with her
the
daughter
thousands
that
of
the
man
dad is in
hours
jail.
to Sadie, to every person who showed up for this for Pocho.
Is
It's a
that guy in the
culmination
back one of
thousands
the
and thousands of
guys
hours,
that
and we couldn't be
testified?
more happy that the jury came to the
He
verdict
looks
they
like
did.
him.
They
That
gave
might-
it
is
Is
that
that
Mike?
Brandon guy or whatever?
and we're so thankful that they
Is
stayed
that
with
Mike
us over the last
Campbell or
almost
Campbell
4 full
or
weeks when they only
It's a-
Brandon?
have to serve for
Yeah.
2.
Is that Brandon?
But
That might be
Yeah.
Brandon.
this really is a testament to, I think,
Why are
good
they
winning
there?
out over evil here, and the jury being able to look past the fact that we still to this day don't know where Pocho is, but we know that even in death he was able to leave behind enough to convict Zachariah
Oh.
Anderson, and for that we're so thankful.
Is she dating Brandon now?
Just a lot of gratitude, and I will
Probably.
let obviously Celia take it from here, as she spearheaded this, and she did so much to make sure that her son is not forgotten, and it's very clear based on all the people in the courtroom today that that will never happen.
I just
Well, you just let the guilty
hello,
person
I
go. You're
just wanna
standing with the
thank,
guilty person right now.
everyone that showed for support for my Pocho and the family over the years.
They said he
either
left
through,
behind
postings
evidence. No, he
and
didn't.
showing up here
Yeah,
in
his
court during
own.
trial, and especially during
I mean, I do feel bad
closings
for her.
and
She did
waiting
lose
for a
her son,
verdict.
but they got
People have
no
lives, they have
evidence on
jobs, they have
Zachariah.
children,
They got
and
the wrong
yet
guy.
they were here
Yeah, but find the right
waiting
guy.
with
Exactly.
us for
Mhm.
Pocho.
Now they're never going
So
to.
I want to thank
Yeah.
them. When it goes to law enforcement, I will, Jessica has already said that what all they did, and I've always maintained that I was always very grateful to law enforcement agencies that had been investigating this case.
You were happy with that
Everything short
investigation?
of finding my
It
son.
was garbage.
And so now we look for him. Any type of remain or any evidence that we can find of where my Pocho is, I ask the public to please be vigilant and be watchful if they see anything.
You know, it'd
to
be
please
interesting
report
if they do end up finding his body
you.
and then find something that might exonerate Zach. That would be
No,
crazy.
I would. I hope they do, just for that fact.
While the jurors were deliberating, I was very anxious, being familiar with waiting for verdicts, but now it was so personal. This was my son. So I was overthinking it. Are they doing this? Are they doing that? I was very
I need to go
anxious.
look in the garbage dump
But
in Illinois.
a message to the jurors is that
Yeah, go ask Mike
I'm
Campbell
grateful
where he
to
put
them
it.
that they were listening to the evidence that the state presented
Or Rebecca's
and to
son.
the testimonies that were given. And I am eternally grateful, my husband and I, our family, for their verdicts, and that Rosalio, my Pocho, has finally have justice, at
No,
least
he
in the court of law.
hasn't. I'm sorry. I feel bad for her too, but he hasn't got justice. It wasn't Zach.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes. It feels wonderful. It feels that God is good, and that God is watching over us and watching over my Pocho, and that some justice, the justice that I was waiting for these 3 years, has come true. It's here. We just heard it a few moments ago.
You sat in court about 4 weeks straight, watching the man who killed your son. How difficult was that, waiting and so composed and so thoughtful throughout this whole trial?
I did it because I respect the court, for one thing, but I'm representing my son, and I don't want to let him down, not even in death. When he's gone, I think I got my strength from him, trying to represent him to the best, because he was such a wonderful son. Amen. And father and friend, and people showed up. Pocho was loved. Pocho was loved, and so I think that helped.
Early on when
Yeah, I hope they find his body so that she can get some peace and Zach can get out of jail, and it finally found out that he didn't do anything.
each day dragged on, and that each how does that contrast to where we are today and those early days of?
I'm hoping some of the jury
I
members give
I felt
interviews.
in my heart that justice would be served. I always felt that. But I also know the unpredictability of jurors, you know, but I feel that they listened to the state's evidence and to the testimonies, and they
What
realized
evidence?
that Zachariah Anderson had murdered my son.
He didn't.
He couldn't have.
He couldn't
You
have.
can talk to that. Oh, there you
How
go.
can they buy his cell phone evidence? Mainly.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing to me.
And bringing awareness to their families and how much impact that this person had when they were alive and how much they have when they're gone.
What's your name?
Selena Mythos.
Can you spell your first and last?
SELENA MYTH.
Who is this person?
What's your relationship with Rosalía?
He was like family. I grew up with
Like
his
family.
uncle.
Everyone's piling on.
Yeah. Nope, there he is. Right in the back there.
Yep.
Jessica, you want to answer?
I mean, I don't know what your concerns. Obviously, this trial had more stopping and starting than I think anything I've been a part of, and I know District Attorney Gravely echoes that sentiment. But there's always concern because it's someone making a decision about evidence. But thankfully, with this group of people, especially because she's obviously been in the system in terms of working with the system, we've always been able to have very candid conversations about what is going on, how we perceive it's going to happen. District
I like
Attorney
how the
Gravely's been doing
trial
this for
turns.
30, I'm not going to age him here, but 34 years roughly, give or take. And so he has a very good handle on being in front of Judge Schrader, knowing what's coming in terms of being able to prepare people. So there were a lot of curveballs here, but we knew that legally speaking, we had solid footing on a lot of these issues. And so we went in with confidence, although obviously it was touch
It
and
was
go
a
there for
circus
couple
of a
minutes on some
trial.
different
Don't kid
issues.
yourself,
But,
lady.
ultimately, we got in the evidence we needed to get in, and the jury was able to make the right decision. Which
They were not. Stop saying that.
No, it was a circus of a trial.
It was a circus of trial. But they made the right decision. Ugh, it makes me want to vomit.
Well, I think just having the support of friends, family, people that I don't know.
3.5 months,
that
4
really
times in
helped
person.
give us the strength to get through
Dated
it.
3.5 months, saw each other 4 times in person.
Sadie, if you care to talk about this, I know that you probably expected that you join us.
Yeah. Get out of here, Sadie.
Of course not, or would have expected this. But again, I'm just grateful to everyone who supported and
You're a
just
garbage
waited for the
human
truth.
being.
Wouldn't it be great if they found the body in Illinois in that dump?
Yeah.
And you were asking anybody might be hunting.
Exactly. The Oscar goes to Sadie for her. It's a garbage performance, though.
He was the one. She was one of
Yes,
3.
yes.
She was, and I
Yes,
think more. I think
there
those other witnesses were.
remains a $10,000 reward for any information. It was leading
dig
to
into the garbage dump.
conviction of
That's what's in 10
Zachariah
grand.
Why don't you
Anderson.
turn around and
Maybe
ask Mike where he
that
put it?
reward remains there for any remains of my boy, if he's found, or yes, if he's found, So I asked for hunters, hikers up north and in those counties that I'm sure that I'm not sure, I feel that Zachariah Anderson was most comfortable and most familiar with, that is where he disposed of my son.
Where did she say she thought he disposed of him?
Up north somewhere.
When did he go
Yes,
there?
I'm going to stay here. I have my grandson, Juliet, my grandson. And so I work at the
Well, I guess
at the
Milwaukee
DA's
is up
office in
north for her,
Milwaukee.
right?
So
I
I
guess,
still
whatever.
anticipate being here another few years, and now I can concentrate on my boy. and doing some of those search parties myself and through friends.
Well, she's the one that has to live with that comfort, I guess, because I don't know how you could.
Remember, the prosecution is learning on the job. The DA, Gonzo, just learned what a argumentative question was in this trial. So
You want to say anything,
We're all wearing Cubs because it was requested or encouraged by Celia here, and he was a diehard fan, and he would, he always brought the energy.
Sadie
to
probably didn't
anything,
even know that.
and honestly, it's not just
she
because
didn't
he
meet
brought
any of his
very
friends or family.
positive
Yeah,
energy
she
to
knew none of
everything
them
he did
until this
and
trial.
That's why we're all here,
Well, until he went
and
missing.
we ain't going nowhere. And we stuck it out, and we found the truth, and we all believe that this was the truth, and now
Of course,
it's
Dave,
proven.
your
So
alibi will be your
thank
alibi.
you to everybody who played a role in this. It's incredible. He was the best friend I ever had, and I miss him dearly, and I know we all do. But this is a huge step right here to give us as a collective the closure that we all deserve.
I agree.
So,
Seems to
thank
be
you.
a character trait of hers.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy Kipp, Jeremy Kipp. Might as well be brothers, but it's my best friend. I've known him for 20 something years, just like a lot of us here have. Maybe even more for a lot of us. There's family and friends here, but it's all about loyalty, and good friendships are hard to find, but we got them right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Wondering if defense team is coming out to give a speech. I would imagine they would.
Trust me, we spent quite a bit of time on that Sunday before prepping all sorts of things that we would be asking.
Just another notch on their belt for them. They don't really care.
Yeah, most prosecutors and DAs are just out for the wins.
I mean, as a lawyer, how can you look at the evidence you have really, truly, and be satisfied with that? That boggles
Well,
my mind.
I'm told time and time again that I look at things too analytically, and that's sort of my job. So I don't have a problem with it. But at the end of the day, you got to convince regular people. And that's
Mhm.
partly why I like this too. I feel like it might make me a better lawyer. That sounds like maybe the defense is not going to be doing
Guess not.
or this guy doesn't care what they have to say. Look at that beard. It's like everyone in Wisconsin forgoes the mustache and just grows the beard. Okay. Well, that's the other thing too, is the state does have an unlimited budget. And that's why the burden is on them.
Well, yeah, they have everybody in their back pocket pretty much, don't they?
Well, not in the back pocket, but they have an unlimited budget. Compared to a defendant,
No,
they
but I
have
mean,
an
like, they
unlimited
got
budget.
the law enforcement,
They have the power of subpoenas or warrants, rather, and they have full cooperation from large corporations like Facebook and the cell phone services. That's why for them to try to put the burden on the state, we're like, oh, you could have tested this stuff. You could have looked up this stuff. No. Well, in theory, sure. If I had, $500,000 in my back pocket, of course I could have. But that's why the burden's on the state. And this is not a sport event. Yeah, but again, okay, so put yourself in their shoes. Assume Sadie was his spouse, and assume, this was a clear-cut victory. The Brooks trial or something like that. I'm not going to fault them for wearing the Cubs outfits. It's just, there's just not enough evidence for me, and it's shockingly scary to see somebody get convicted with that little of evidence, to go away for the rest of their life on something as serious as murder. That's the most concerning thing that I have that comes out of these kind of trials. Even the Murdaugh trial, because his voice was on a Snapchat video that was made close to the time the state said the murders happened, he was convicted. And just because the state says this is the time happened doesn't mean that the murder happened. In this particular case with Zachariah, I think they said the murders took place in the evening of May 17th because that's what best matched the evidence they had against Zach, not for any other reason. So I don't know, that particular time frame.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And I think
so
a lot of with Murdaugh too is just
it
the
could have been 2 a.m.
history of his family and people knowing, like, and just then they brought in all that financial stuff, and it was just, even if you saw no evidence, which I didn't see significant evidence to prove anything, like, I could see why he got convicted. But in this case, I am blown away. Is
They
that
have no witness to any noise taking place. They have a unavailable witness that made a statement that she heard noises on May 17th. They have another witness that was unavailable that said that she heard noises on May 18th. The two witnesses that actually showed up for trial said they didn't hear anything on May 17th. They're putting the time frame where they want it to be at 8, 9, 10 o'clock on May 17th because that best matches Zachariah Anderson's timeline. There's nothing independent of that to say that this crime didn't take place late into the evening or in the middle of the night on or even early hours of May 18th. So
absolutely. And I can't understand how anybody could get around that cell phone evidence. I mean, that is like, usually I don't really, cell phone evidence can be like wishy-washy, but that was like pretty significant to me.
Yep. Yeah. So,
and I was thinking like, if people can see that, like a jury can see that and they can still be like, nah, that's scary.
Yep. I agree. This case is scary to think about because if everyday mundane activities can convict you of murder, then we're all subject to getting convicted for crimes we didn't commit.
Yeah. And then trying to go through the appeal process and get somebody to look at your case. You could spend 30, 40 years in jail before anybody gets to you. You know what I mean?
You're leaving your phone? No, see, you need to keep it on you. You need to keep multiple phones on you. You need to have your Apple Watch on you when you sleep. You need to have surveillance videos at all entrances and even on the inside of your house. You need to set up a surveillance camera showing you sleeping so that your location at any given time is documented by at least 3 different devices and 3 different corporation clouds have recordings of it. So that way you can prove your innocence.
Yeah, pretty much. Brent, that's funny because I don't.
Alexa has his back.
Yeah. Well, they can twist it any way they want. Yeah, you don't have your phone on you, you're doing something shady. If you do have your phone on you, well, they'll figure
You're trying to create an alibi.
Yeah.
Someone asked about the next trial. I believe it will be April 3rd. I will start streaming the Stouch trial. I'm still working on that. Daybell's out. There's just no way I'm going to do Daybell. I was watching Uncivil Law today, who was running through the audio only section of the death penalty hearing, which I have, and I was thinking about doing one, a test one for.
Oh, how was that?
My channel.
Like,
it's so boring. So boring.
that's what I mean. Like with it just being audio, how did it feel?
Just
boring.
Boring. Just so boring. I'm not going to do it. And we have to do it like in the evening, like it would be available at 6 o'clock every night. And I don't want to do that. So I'm not doing Daybell, and it's unfortunate, but I am going to do Stouch. I'm going to get access to that and do that one. That'll be my next one. And that should be April 3rd. And then there are some other videos I'm going to do, guys. I have some Supreme Court cases that I'm going to go through. I'm hoping to have a Crumbly case that I'm going to go through, Crumbly parents case here shortly that I'll go through, and some other things like that. So it was a very long, yeah, it was It was very long, and the judge was reading. It was a very technical motion that needed to be brought and dealt with. It was very technical. It's not like a drama, but I just have a hard time with the idea of just doing audio only. I feel like I'm going to get frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, thank you all for joining me for this very disappointing at the end, but fun nonetheless trial. Oh, I should probably change my banner. I created a new banner to cover up the Law and Crime logo. And there we go. All right, now we're good. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Jamie. I will send
no
you
problem.
streams when I go live again.
Yeah.
Or I'll send you an invite if you want to join me for some more
Always.
trials.
These are fun.
And, yeah, good. Glad you enjoyed it. And your dogs too.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Oh, I said apparently your dogs are enjoying it as well.
Yeah, there's the male ladies here, so they're going crazy.
Take care, all.
Bye.
Bye.